I'll tell you, you have to pick the people you want to be around. Who do you want to associate yourself with? Put yourself in a position to be successful, and you only do that around people that are successful. And a lot of people find themselves stuck in a rut with old friends from high school who are not doing anything, and they're stuck. So you want to move yourself past that. Find the people that you want to be around. Surround yourself with really strong people. Don't just get through the day, get from the day. How can you move through life that way? That's a much better way to look at life than some of the stuff I see every day.
Welcome to the Cash Flow Chronicles Open Forum. I'm Matt Allison, a commercial insurance advisor helping businesses protect their cash flow by managing risk and putting the right protections in place.
And I'm Brad Metzger, a commercial lender specializing in finance solutions. From lines of credit and term loans to real estate mortgages, I'm here to help businesses grow and stay flexible.
This podcast is a community-driven conversation for CFOs, finance leaders, and business owners who want real insight into cash flow, credit, and financial resilience.
We keep it practical, collaborative, and to the point.
Powerful finance conversations in under 40 minutes, built for busy professionals. This is the Cash Flow Chronicles Open Forum.
Hey everyone, welcome again to the latest edition of the Cash Flow Chronicles Open Forum. Shout out to 313 Media and Dylan for letting us come out. Again, happy to have you here. Have some celebrities, in my opinion, with Patrick and Joe. So tell us a little bit more about why you guys are on and what you guys are working on right now with the CT1 new entity you guys are focused on.
So it's all a construction developed new software, but the software was created for newer contractors, people trying to develop in the business. The good news is that we've been in business for a long time as a restoration contractor, builder for over 30 years. So we're bringing a new level of experience and quality and a software to help develop contractors be better as they move forward, because we're losing contractors literally every year, and we cannot afford to lose more contractors.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I was just having a conversation yesterday, like the skilled trades.
Yes.
So I'm close to 40 and get your degree, don't want to do skilled trades. And that's such a common perception. What do you think is the cause to less and less individuals working in the industry?
I think the challenge is for many years, and you guys can attest to this, that university, college was being pushed very heavily. I'm going to say, since the early 90s, people were pushing university through the 2000s, university, college. And even those, college isn't for everybody. I didn't go myself. So I think the push was there. A lot of schools took out the trades in their school systems. Like when I went to school, we had a trades department. I actually learned how to I learned how to do rough carpentry. I learned how to do things in school, but they took it out. And they pushed it a different direction. And as a result, it put a pressure on the industry for people to want to go into it. And now we're seeing a shift. We're starting to see a shift of people coming back into the trades. The challenge is, as a general contractor now, I'm not seeing enough guys stay in business. I always believe it's easy to get in business, but it's hard to stay in business. There's an 80 to 90% failure rate with most tradesmen in our market right now. 80 to 90% people fail within the first 2 years. They're gone. And I see it every day because we hire tradesmen every day to do our work. So we put a solution together to help retain and grow these young guys because they didn't get an opportunity to develop, or young women, whoever it is in the trades, to develop them so they can grow, prosper, and stay in business long enough to enjoy the fruits of their labor.
And it's really a systemic issue. If you look back at high school, middle school, high school, you can see the troubled kids were pushed off into trade school. They had separate schools for the troubled kids, right? And they were pushed off to learn a trade, right? So the trades have always been looked down upon. They've always been considered the hire. You go, you need your work done in your house, you go hire a trades guy. But it hasn't been a career path for many even individuals in this country.
In ways, I think it's almost getting worse too. So looking back at my high school, we had a wood shop and we had an auto body shop. Right?
Yeah.
Fast forward 20 years, and I look,
It's gone.
it's all gone. They literally put
Wiped it out.
a new theater. So there's no more auto body shop. So there's no after school hours working on cars. That's gone.
Yep.
There's no more working in the wood shop to do it. So I found that there's certain people that are, I'll just say, they're wired differently.
Yeah.
I want to use my hands. And the fact is, it's just like, well, did you think about school?
Yeah.
It's just, trades was like you said, it was never in their mind to go to a trade school, but maybe I'll figure it out in university. And no.
Well, we were at a pivotal point, I would say, in the 80s too, where society recognized that there were groups of people that grew up in the trades that needed to be kind of nurtured, right? And then they got rid of those schools, a lot of them, right? The trade schools. And I went to a trade school in 8th grade, and I think 8th through 9th, I went for art, but it was more of like, this guy's not a conventional thinker, throw him in this school.
Design.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
You're thinking different.
And away from the normal kids,
Yeah.
right? The people who use their brain, not their hands, right? And so not only are they looked on, the trades in general, as second-class citizens, but they're looked on as dumber people and it's not true at all.
No, it's not true. As a matter of fact, and I've always made this reference. My brother went to college to be a physician. So people used to say between us, they go, oh, he's the street smart one. He's the book smart one. So I was labeled young as, oh, he's the street smart guy. He uses his hands. And I'm like, but I could be a book smart guy too. I'm like, I'm not dumb. Like, why am I being categorized? I was being pigeonholed into this belief system that I wasn't going to be much of anything because I didn't have a 4-year degree. Now I hire all those people with the 4-year degrees. That's really the difference. I'm looking at those folks, and I didn't go to school for that. But I will tell you, when I was in high school, we built a house. We literally built a house. We left school and built it. Literally, I, with my hands, learned how to build it. And I believe it did shape me personally. I loved it. I excelled. I didn't do so great in the math class, but I did amazing in my building trades class. So yeah, we need more of that. I'd like to believe that it's coming. But I think what's happening now is that we need to make plumbers sexy again. We need to make carpentry sexy again. We got to bring it back.
They'll pull their pants. It's still sexy sometimes.
Still say no to crack.
Still saying,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of interesting. So Velocity and Sterling Heights, they're kind of an incubator. And one of the things they've invited is the city of Utica school district. One of the things they're trying to push is trades and starting early. So in 7th and 8th grade, they're allowing, again, a handful of people, right? So it's 10, 12. They're growing the program, but it's starting it earlier in a kid's career.
Yeah.
Not in high school. You're starting early. I want to get into robotics. It's forming a culture change, but it has to start somewhere. And it's very small, but it's not in all the districts. So, it has to have funding.
Yeah.
So whether you're, trying to be a plumber, be an electrician, I want to work in steel trades, I want to hang HVAC, all of these are coming into play.
Yeah.
And there is a shortage. And there's a lot of people in the, in their 50s and 60s. And then we're finding this 40 to 30-year-old gap.
Yeah.
That there's not a lot of people in that are.
And where it's fractured, we might have young people going into it, but they don't have the education how to actually stay in business. So they know the craft. They're really good at that. They just don't know how to run their business. So when they get into business, they spend all their money. They don't know how to handle taxes. They don't understand insurance. So that is where we are coming in. We're saying, listen, we need a university. We need a business in a box. And that's what we did. We basically created a software based on a behavior of a successful 5-star contractor. And what does that look like? It's a process-driven software that literally guides young trades to follow proper business structure. It gives them structure, gives them a process, something to follow, a target to hit. And as long as they follow it, as long as they do it, they will be able to achieve a lot of the same results of a good, successful contractor. And that's what CT1 is developing right now.
And our growth is good. Like we're doing well. We've been having focus groups and we've been pitching to groups of contractors, and the response while we're showing our platform and presenting is, oh my gosh, how do I get on this?
Yeah.
Right? Where do I sign up? I mean, it's ridiculous. And I consider this, and you hear me say it a lot, that this is a political movement, honestly, more than anything. We support the trades, and we see a lot of tech companies, and trust me, I've been in tech for 25 years. I've been doing this a long time. And you see from Amazon's goal this year is a positive goal, is to lay off 100,000 people. Like, this is a good business move. No one's looking down at this, right? Like, this is what they want to do. By the end of this year, 100,000. They reached 30,000 by the end of last year. So in a 2-year period, 130,000 layoffs at Amazon. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because they want to go full automation. They want there's a warehouse by my house. I live in Birmingham. It's a couple miles away. It's 90% unmanned. Right. And I'm for AI. We use AI.
AI built
Plus it
built
has-
our system.
Yeah, plus it has drones too.
Yeah.
Yes.
We get them delivered to our house to shoot them down.
So we're saying AI is going after your graphic artists. They're going after the repetitive job, the Amazon driver, the graphic artists, even the architects now, designers. They're going after all of it, but they're not going after a plumber right now. They're not going after HVAC guys or painters.
And so we're seeing this shift, right? This pivotal shift. We're seeing, white collar workers flooding the workspace, or the unemployment right now throughout all of America, and people without jobs. LinkedIn, I don't know if you've been there recently. It's a cesspool of unemployed people.
Yeah.
Our recruiters can't find good people. Everything's automated with AI.
It's both. I got a lot of people that have skills, and I have a lot of jobs of skills that nobody has.
Right.
Right.
I mean, everything's going to AI oversight roles now.
Yeah.
Really.
So 2 questions that you've built a business in the space.
Yeah.
You've been around for a long time. So initially talking with you, what are some lessons you learned having built your first business that it's like, man, I really wish I knew something like CT1 existed when you were building this business from the get-go?
So what's interesting is I didn't know what I didn't know. So when I started out, I mean, I've been a builder for 30 years, but CONSTRUCTEAM as a company, which is an insurance restoration, a business remodeling, commercial company, we've been around for 20 years doing successful business. But I will tell you, we started out as one person, office, and it was me, and one of the things that I learned the most is that you have to do what you say you're going to do, even if it hurts, even if you make a mistake. So the biggest lesson I learned is do what you say you're going to do. If you go to a client, and I don't care what trade you're in or what business you're in, if you don't deliver on what you say you do, you will not be around very long. So that was one of the lessons I learned early on in my business to help me stay in business. And then, of course, learning how to build a foundation of my company instead of growing. A lot of guys like to scale. Everyone talks about scale. Well, scaling comes after you build a foundation. What is that foundation? It's processes, it's people, it's organizational skills, within the company. Simple stuff. Just getting yourself organized. That's what CT1 is really designed to do. Organize, help you build a foundation deep and wide so that you can scale your business. Because if you scale without any of those things, you will fall. The building will fall over. It's inevitable.
And so the software you have, it's both, I'll say, able to be used in the field and in the office. Right?
Absolutely. It's designed to be, in essence, your back office. And we can go into the details on that. But the reality is we have, estimating. And here's the great part. All of these different things that we have within our software are all separate apps out in the world right now. CRMs, estimating software, this, boom, all these different things. We pulled it together to make an ecosystem of all the components you need to operate your business under one hat versus you have an app for this, you have an app for this, you have an app for this. It's like all these different things, and these guys don't use them because they don't speak to each other. Our software speaks to each other. It has back office AI. We have a visualizer. You can take pictures and change the AI can show a customer what you're doing in your house. We have estimating software. You could just speak exactly what it is that you're doing, and boom, the estimate will be created for you. You can send it to the client, immediate response. Today, people don't like to leave a job. Contractors leave jobs. They're so busy. They don't even give the estimate. They meet with the client, go back to their home, and then they have to type it out. They don't type it out. The customer doesn't hear from them for a week. And they typically lose work as a result because whoever got to it first, gets the job. So our system is designed for that.
There's always someone a little better and faster.
Yeah.
Right. And our goal is to kind of level the playing field. And I love, you talk about 80 to 90% go out of business their first year, right, in contracting. And so what we've done and I love the word you use, fractured, too, because their business space, running a business, is fractured. They have QuickBooks, they have an estimating software, they have a crew management, they have customer portal, and they have 5 different systems, putting it all together and putting it into their CRM. And now they have, what's really important is 6 different bills to 6 different companies. Then they got to do their taxes. And this is why they fail, because they're so fractured in their business. And now they can't even write their estimates for 3 days. And so I'm familiar with it. How many times have I hired an HVAC guy, electric guy, plumbing? They come out, give me a quote, or go out to their truck, and I'm like, are they coming back with the quote? Where are they? And they drive away, and I'm like, who was that again? And I don't even know the company, right? Because I called 3 companies because we have a leak in our, bathroom. And, I just Google, fix my, bathroom leaky faucet. And, 3 people show up and I don't know any of them, and no one gave me an estimate. And now I'm trying to find someone else again. I mean, I'm so familiar with that. Right. And so like our goal was to say, we want our contractors in our network, because we have a network of contractors in our platform. And we're allowing them to get leads and to feed off each other and to work with each other and to use our platform together. And how can we get them to go out to a job site, quote it accurately, and send them an estimate within a specific time frame, half hour, 1 hour, whatever the scope of the job is, and to get the sign off on the customer while they're there. Add a little element of sales support, business support. And I love our coined phrase, business in a box, because that's everything a contractor needs to sustain and scale their business, consistently over time.
I work at a bank. I use 15 different systems, not to talk to each other, right? So
Right.
it's so bad. So it's, hey, I have a customer name and address, which one's right on each system, right? So it's important to have systems talking to each other. It seems like you figured that out. Would you say the platform is allowing your person to get away from the desk and get into the field and focus on the business at hand?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're using AI to allow them to practice their craft. So AI is going to work in the background and help them develop because they have the software, but then they can go actually do what they do best. And that's why we have the answering, system. That's why we have the quick response estimating software, so they could speed things up. A lot of these guys get backed up because they can't get all that back office stuff done. So they can't focus on their craft. So we've designed a software that helps them organize, implement great processes within their company so they can go do their job where the people are hiring them to do.
It's a 2-parter also.
Yeah.
There's the guy who wants to work with his hands and have his business running in the background and automated. And then there's a guy who wants to work on his business, not use his hands anymore, step back and manage his crews. So there's both elements happening.
Different phases of a business too, right?
Right.
Very much
It
so.
has to do with growth.
Hey, I want to be able to do it. I want to show my team. I want to build the team, build a culture. Now that it's there, I want to be, as the owner, a more growth person to grow, to build it, to scale it.
Yeah.
And we see that too in Joe being in business for 30 years. He's grown up. He started as a painter in Clinton Township, right? A painter in Clinton Township, and went through all those growing pains over the years. And Joe's a very influential guy. He's had his own talk show on TV, right? Literally. And so you see, like, he's very influential to his contractors. There's a lot of young contractors coming up, and they're always going at Joe. How do I do this? How can I do this? What can I do here? And Joe said, like, let's build a system for them to grow up in contracting and to mature in their business.
Contracting, electricians, plumbers, painters. What other industries in that contracting world is good for?
I will tell you, you can label it anything you want. It could be a landscaper, could be a house cleaner, could be a window cleaner, could be a handyman. It's designed really for anybody. It doesn't specifically say contractor. If you have to write an estimate for your service, it could be anybody. The operating system doesn't discriminate. It basically can handle any type of business. Actually, the one thing that we haven't built it for right now is for a general contractor like who I am. It will be coming soon. We're going to develop it where a GC like CONSTRUCTEAM can also use the software. But right now it's mainly for a single trade or a single type person, but really anybody. It can almost be private labeled to anybody who has a young, thriving young business.
Figure it out for banking and then we'll talk, right?
That's coming.
I don't want to
Yeah.
respond to emails, right? I wanted to read it and there's so many different things where we spend too much time sitting in front of the computer when I'd rather spend time sitting in front of a customer.
Exactly.
Solving a problem, fixing something.
And I'll tell you, we see so many challenges with our contractors. They come in, they're young, they make lots of mistakes, from billing to estimating to you name it. They just make so many mistakes. And that's why they gravitate to me, because I'm very nurturing. So when they come into my office and I say, "What's going on? You're a fantastic trader." He's like, "Joe, I really need some help. I don't know how to do this." And I take these guys under my wing and we teach them. And years ago, I said, "God, if I could only do this to everybody. I can't go to lunch with all of you guys." They're all like, "Can I take you to lunch? Tell me something." And I'm like, it's more than that. It's more than that. So I told Patrick a long time ago, I said, I want to develop a system where I can show tradesmen how to make $250,000 a year after taxes, which is a big deal, after taxes, okay? And you can live a great life. You can have a house, you can have kids, you can have a wife or a family, whatever, a spouse, anything with your industry if you just had some simple skills, simple organizational skills to keep you in business. The problem is these guys do really well in their first few months of business. They go, "Oh my God, I got $50,000 in the bank. I don't even know. I'm going to go buy a big fancy car." They literally, listen, they do this all the time. And I go, "Guys, wrong. Bad answer. No cars. As a matter of fact, I don't want you to buy anything except equipment for that business and figure out how you're going to pay the next employee to help you grow and scale your business."
And it's going to be you.
Yes. So you need that money. And oh, by the way, the government, Uncle Sam's taking about a third of that. So I just want you to know that 50 is not all yours. And that is the trap.
We said with contractors, you're one bad quote away from shutdown.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
There's one.
It just applies to life in general.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've seen one where they underbid and it took them years to recapture that. It's no different than with loans. If I have one bad loan and I have to write off $1 million, that's a lot of interest of $1 million for me to make up. So I want to dig in a little bit with the quoting side to it.
Yes.
Right? So if I do a quote manually, I'm going to upload it into the system. You're going to AI, I'm assuming, is integrated with that quoting side to it. Is it going to look at my last quotes with, say, pricing has gone up, or can I tweak it to better fit, time in market or drive time? Or does it adapt as I add more quotes to different things? How does that kind of quoting side work? Because, again, one bad quote could completely mess up business.
The challenge from the beginning was, how can we translate this culture into software, right? From the beginning, right? That's been the challenge. And so I just want to touch on the AI real quick, and then I'll answer your question. But, coming from, this ball of energy, which is CONSTRUCTEAM, and the culture of Joe and his empathy towards contractors, how can we translate that into technology, into a tech that really serves contractors, right? And so we've really invested a ton of time and energy and money into this platform. I just want to say that there is deep thought, deep money, and deep energy put into this. And so we took this and we said, okay, well, we're going to build our own closed LLM AI. that's not accessible to anything but the trades, right? So anything trades, whether it's technical skills, whether it's business management, whether it's sales training, whether it's Joe's culture of nurturing contractors coming up, young contractors, that is in our closed LLM. I call it Joe AI, right? But it's really this culture, this embodiment of the trades, our passion to raise up the trades, and Joe's nurturing kind of attitude towards the trade that really drove the AI. And it's a closed LLM that we built and put a ton of money and time and energy and thought into for the algorithm.
The estimating portion is it's funny. We just sat in a meeting yesterday where we are going to be implementing competitive pricing in the system for all the things that these contractors need to know about. So like if they don't know how much a square foot to hang drywall, it will be in the system. It will give them a recommended price point. It'll actually spit it out in their estimate. Unless you already know what your dollar amount is, if you say the number of square foot, if you just say into the AI, this room is 6 by 9 by 8 foot tall, it will already have in the system all the lineal footage, the square footage. It already is in the AI. You just have to say we're replacing 10 lineal foot of base, and the base pricing will come up, or this. So it's all in there. And do I believe that it's going to learn? I feel like it will eventually learn itself.
Learning. I mean, we have a learning element in the algorithm.
So it's in the algorithm. Yes.
But we also have an integration with Lowe's. So we partner with Lowe's for the integration on pricing. So if you are building that quote right from the AI, it pulls products right from Lowe's. We're working on Home Depot. We're working on Tractor Supply, Ace Hardware, and a handful of other integrations. But for now, we're working with Lowe's and we're pulling live pricing right from Lowe's stock.
Love it.
And so you can literally talk it out, build the quote there, send it right there. You can literally do that in 5 minutes, which would usually take 3 days and sitting in the driveway for a half hour drive away, email.
Speed to market.
Yep.
Absolutely. Speed to lead. You want to get it. You want to get it quickly as possible.
And part of that is really making these contractors better sellers of their products. They're so passionate about what they do. Why not learn how to sell it better? And that's part of this initiative for sure.
And don't sell at a low margin just because you want to close that deal. I like them. I don't want to, I'll take care of them. But to Brad's point, could be a lost leader for you or a bad contract.
Well, I'll tell you what, he said something really important. And I thought of something right behind that. You said one bad quote can destroy a company. Well, in this day and age, one bad review will also destroy your business, because we now live in a Google review society. 5 stars is now the thing. It's all we have 5-star training in our system that comes with it. Actual training that takes you through the process, how to be a 5-star contractor. So reviews are critical. So if they go to a job and they mess up really bad, right? They misquote, then they got to go back to the customer and say, I missed this. Remember I said, do what you say you're going to do, even if it hurts. When I mean, even if it hurts, you have to fix it. You screwed up. You sold yourself short. The key is learning that you don't do that again. You pray that it doesn't put them out of business the first time around. But the challenge is a lot of these guys make the same mistakes over and over and over. That's what we're trying to build that out of the system so that they don't make those mistakes over and over.
And when we say this too, do what you say you're going to do, even when it hurts, right? You can see a reaction in the room. And we'll be the first to say our platform is not for every contractor. Like some contractors don't like that, right? We're looking for specific contractors to come in that want to grow and change their business and succeed for the long haul. And as we're qualifying our contractors, you'll see the reaction in the crowd. Like when we did a focus group last week, and you could just see from the reactions in the crowd, like some people are like, I'll never do that. And then other guys are like, I need this now.
My God, I need it now. How fast can we sign up? Because they know they need it. They know they're in trouble. And
But on our focus groups, we're at like 85% retention and positive, reaction.
I'm thinking about selling my house. What should I do in that same LLM, which is not specific to what you're trying to do?
And the algorithm will prompt, it'll say, we're sorry, we can only answer questions related to contracting. So it will push back if you ask any political questions, blah, blah, blah. It's going to push back against that.
We have a little pocket bot in it where you could literally ask it sales questions like, I want to sell this client. I need some answers to this. You can say that in there and it'll spit out some really great ideas on how to sell a client. Issues that you might have with the job. How do I fix this? It'll spit it out to you right there.
So the language model, is it, you said it's closed. Is it closed for that customer or is it closed just
It's closed within our platform, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So it has the ability to say, hey, this contractor, obviously you guys own it and manage it, do it, but hey, we see a problem with this electrical company. They've
Right.
seen this. Would it help another contractor within that world if they were to ask that same question? Or
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we could. I mean, it's separated from our internal and the contractors. So they have a different feed from that. So we can ask it CT1 business questions and it can give us, really great answers. But I mean, we're not really using it like that. It's more enabled for the contractors to be able to get questions answered quickly. Not only how to, hammer in this nail, but also how can I advance this sale? And you can ask it questions about your accounts. I have a customer, that X, Y, and Z. How do I do this? And then it will give you the suggestions based on that job, the estimate, everything on that job, and how to advance that deal or how to fix a problem with that customer.
I've been having a lot of conversations recently about ERP implementation, and it's kind of funny. They're just like, "Oh, it's the worst thing ever." And it's funny in this part, I think of it as an ERP type system because people think you bring in an ERP system that's going to fix your process issues. I'm always like, no, you got to fix the process first. ERP just streamlines that process. So you got to start from square one. And I think the two individuals, it's a big headache. I'm like, you got to go back to the bare bones. You got to write this down, kind of like a project management type process scope. And I think that's helpful because how many contractors don't have that skill set?
That's a good point. And that's how we built it, honestly, with the workflow from lead to job to estimate to customer. Like the workflow is building that framework, that ecosystem in flow for the contractor to succeed.
Yeah, it's behavioral. We designed how to be a 5-star contractor. We built it behaviorally driven to get certain things that the contractor has to answer in each step of the process.
You can't advance until you answer this because.
Well, like you need photos. You get a risk shot of the house. A lot of these guys, I asked them, did you get your photos of the job? No, I didn't take any pictures. I'm like, how did you not take pictures?
Well, pictures can also help too, because if I have multiple field people going to that site, they could say, yes, that is the same HVAC system, or who installed it. You can create a history, create the the customer profile to see what work was done, what parts did we put on. Hey, there's a recall. We can identify, hey, these parts need to get replaced. Reach out to these customers. Again, if you're doing it on paper, how are you going to ever do that? How are you going to be able to provide service for a customer? Right?
It's going to be really shoddy work and be a bad customer experience.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and you lose customer.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Filing cabinet. So let me pull up the filing cabinet here. And speaking of like our parents, like, oh, you need a filing cabinet. I'm like, it's all digital now, Mom. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Here's my filing cabinet. It's a little server.
But when we're having focus groups, the contractors coming in, that's what you hear. We're using sticky notes. We're using Word docs.
Oh, we hear all kinds of crazy
we use
stuff.
QuickBooks. We use this. We use that. And we have a partnership with QuickBooks. I mean, our marketplace, we have over 400 tech providers that we can sell in-house.
In our system. They can go
we
to
have
a
marketplace. So, and some of that stuff we've actually gotten rid of out of our marketplace because we provide it. Like the GPS tracking.
Yeah.
The crew management is huge. It's huge in municipal. Like one of our contractors is a municipal customer, a contractor, huge jobs, and they're using it for crew management, and, I think that is one element that is a huge value that there are other, providers out there that charge $500 a month for just
that.
screw management.
Just that.
And then we have the customer portal. There are customer portal platforms out there, right? And we're not like trying to cobble everything together and half-ass all of these tech into one. This is all of these should be one, right? This is one. This is the ecosystem of business contractors live within. And so that's why we've coined it business in a box. And it doesn't make sense for us to see in the market, like everyone has their niche. And that's how it is normally. They have their niche. And we've been able, just lucky, and like I think the energy of the universe is with us because we've just been like Godspeed with the development. Things are coming together so well. And it's working. It's firing off and people are loving it and getting huge value from it.
And some of our challenges will be bad habits for contractors that have a lot of bad habits on how they do their business. And ideally, I've said it, I've learned a long time ago, maybe we all have, that it takes 21 days to break a habit, right? So you have to use the software repetitively. So we're trying to design something within our organization to hold on to these guys for a period of time. As they come on, give them the training, stay with them through the process, because we don't want to lose them in the first 14 days of their trial. We don't want to lose them in the first month. We want them to use it repetitively so they get used to the process and start creating new habits.
That was a question I was going to ask you, because practice makes perfect. Every job needs to follow these protocols.
Every job.
Checklist. Well, it's a cool idea, but I don't want to spend the money or whatever people say. It's like you have to practice this repetitively, because you said to change habits.
Yeah.
Even think about going to the gym. Like, we go through teeters and January 1st. And I'm super busy. I'm going to lose 15 pounds. Maybe that lasts a month or so. Then you go back to your routine.
Well, there's a faith issue. People don't really believe the future state of what they can be on the other side of this great change.
Yeah.
And so like with the gym, we give up because we don't know what it's like to have a great body. We don't know what life is like to live free of being healthy, and so likewise with this, we don't know what is on the other side of all of these bad habits.
We had a contractor sit in our focus group who was kind of poo-pooing the whole thing, although he needs it more than anybody. And we knew it. Usually those that push back are the ones that need it the most. And I wanted to push back on this person because they don't get their estimates. It takes them a week to get me their estimate. You were on that job. You should have that estimate in my hands by the next morning at the very least. With our software that you're just poo-pooed, you could have it within walking out of the driveway. You just speak into it. You took all that time to write all those notes down. You could have spoke those notes. It would have prepared the estimate. And by the time you sat in the driver's seat of your truck, you can hit the button and it's in my email. All prepared. You didn't even have one misspelling. It'll be perfectly spelled. It'll be organized and laid out in a beautiful PDF that you don't even have to think about. It will be there already set up for somebody to hit the button to pay a deposit. They can hit the button, pay your deposit here. Boom. It's already connected to your bank. Your bank can, you can collect the money that the client can pay right there. You can have your money within hours of giving an estimate. So again, that is the guy who literally looked at me and said, I don't know if I need that. You need it more than anybody, because you take a week to get an estimate to me. I can't do that. I have a business around. I don't have time for you to take a week. I need it immediately.
What's the future of contractors? How can, and where do you think your product will be in 5 years?
Future of contractors, I think, I know that the world is saying that we need, 300,000 electricians in the next 5 years. We need, 400,000 plumbers in the next few years, all just to service AI, believe it or not. So there's this whole thing. So I do see a massive need for contractors. So yes, we need more people in the space. And your next question?
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see the product? So,
And yourself.
I will tell you, the product is changing as fast as AI is changing. A year ago, CT1 did not look the same as it does today. It has evolved as technology has evolved, because there's some things that we're doing on the system now that wasn't even available to us a year ago. It's now available. So boom, it's in the process. So I would say it's going to continue to evolve and get better as contractors use it. So we'll be a better system a year from now. We will have worked out certain bugs. Contractors will be using it, and we will modify as quickly as we can to make sure that it meets the needs of these contractors. Where will I be in 5 years? I would love to see the whole company with about 100,000 paying membership-based contractors or more, with new contractors coming on a regular basis, and us traveling around the country, speaking to groups and meeting with trades, going to colleges, going to different places, and speaking to as many organizations as possible and supporting the industry. I see us having a convention for CT1 5 years from now where there's 1,000, 2,000 people at our convention who are all CT1 users, who have stories to tell about how it's evolved and created a beautiful life for themselves, and they get to come on and share their stories.
It'll be in Vegas.
Of course.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll get Mike Rowe to come into Detroit.
We've already reached out to Mike Rowe, believe it or
We're
not.
talking with him.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think he's the biggest advocate for this exact.
Exactly.
purpose.
He is a huge advocate, and he speaks about this on a regular basis.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, to go off cuff from business, Patrick, best Metallica song. I see you got the Metallica.
Oh, God.
plug.
I'm bad on songs, but I'll say Ride the Lightning's probably the best album.
Oh, shoot.
So that's a good one.
That's their best album.
I mean, would you say
But I do love Blackened is a great song also.
would you say it's one of the best,
And a good cigar.
one of the best rock bands in history? Do you think, or
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely. Top 10 probably in my book.
best is a loaded term?
Yeah.
It's tough. So
Top 10.
Yeah,
Top.
Metallica is definitely in my top 10 of all time.
it's gotta be
I like the what was it?
Oh,
The
because
Symphony?
yeah.
I got that. Yeah.
a bittersweet.
I went to their concert a couple of years ago and I got the the Smashing Death package,
Great.
and it came with a T-shirt, a mug, and I was sitting here the whole concert with a T-shirt and a mug.
Oh, I love this the symphony one they did, the album. That was awesome.
Yeah,
the orchestra behind it.
All the songs, it's like the same songs, and then they added some new songs too. But I always laugh at like Turn the Page,
okay,
because it's like, okay, it's a Bob Seger song,
right.
but it's Metallica style, and they'd say it Metallica.
They just have a great history, I don't know.
It's very
Yeah, I mean, I always like to talk about the people, not just the business, which is kind of the idea of these podcast structures. I think that's the best part. And Joe, if you had to pick a restaurant to go to right now, where would you go for lunch?
For lunch,
You buying?
Maybe.
I will tell you,
It'll
because
be-
the area we're in, I will tell you, I love Capitol Grill.
Solid spot.
I am a huge Capitol Grill fan. The food's always good. The company's always great. The service has been top notch. I've always have. And by the way, I know it seems like I know everybody when I walk in there. So yeah, that would be my spot right now. But I wish they had a patio because it's so nice outside. So maybe Ocean Prime for the patio. But I'm just thinking of the area that we're in right now.
Oh, yeah. And obviously in Troy,
Yeah.
big Beaver area. So I always like to reference that because we're more than business individuals. We have
Sure.
families, we have lives to live outside of work. So in closing, thank you so much for jumping on board for the podcast. Very excited about what you guys are building. I think it's a big opportunity. I think you guys would agree.
Thank you.
What do you have in closing for our listeners? Any tips, tricks? And then how can we help you guys? That's the biggest thing.
All I can say is be open-minded, listen, and look for an opportunity. Look, I always say it's better to be ready for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be ready, right? So I want these guys to be ready for the opportunities. So CT1 is a great opportunity, and you will have business that's all sitting out there waiting for you. So CT1 can help develop and help you be ready for that opportunity. So that's what I would say to our listeners from that perspective. And be open-minded. Be willing to learn, grow. That was one of the things that I learned personally, is just learn as much as you can. Read a book, pick up, read some great stuff, get off social media and stop paying attention to all this craziness out there and conspiracy theory stuff. Read some real stuff and develop yourself. That's really what I would say. I think that's the best thing I ever did, was personal growth, how to get through the valleys in life, because it's easy to be on top. When everything's good, it's so easy, right? But when shit hits the freaking fan, man, it's tough. So personal growth, learning, growing yourself mentally and, and physically so you can get through the tough times.
It's great feedback. I'm looking at 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
One of the great books of all time.
Shout out to Dylan for that. It's good to great, Jim Collins.
Good to
Jim
great.
Collins, the great one. And how about you, Patrick?
I would say do whatever you can in your power to be the best version of yourself every day. Wake up and say, what can I do to be better today? And I think that's been critical in my growth, in my success, is just always being that 1% better today than I was yesterday, and stop comparing yourself to others. And I think I compete with myself. I'm my biggest competitor, and I want to be better than I was yesterday. If I'm not, what do we say? If you're not growing, you're
Dying.
So I want to live life to the fullest. And it's always a possibility to live the life of your wildest dreams. I think people have lack of faith, man. Have faith.
Yeah.
I always say the only limit is yourself. And my pet peeve is negativity and complainers.
Oh my gosh.
Those are my 2 complete pet peeves. And life's tough, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But when you surround yourself with complainers, you're going to be the complainer.
Yeah. We could do a whole podcast on that because I could talk about that all afternoon. I could talk about it all afternoon.
Stay away from corporate America.
Yeah.
It's full of complaints.
Misery loves company, and I'll tell you, you have to pick the people you want to be around. Who do you want to associate yourself with? Put yourself in a position to be successful, and you only do that around people that are successful. And a lot of people find themselves stuck in a rut with old friends from high school who are not doing anything, and they're stuck. So you want to move yourself past that. Find the people that you want to be around. Surround yourself with really strong people. Don't just get through the day, get from the day. How can you move through life that way? That's a much better way to look at life than some of the stuff I see every day.
And another good one I'll say is fuck the haters. Prophet's never welcome in his own town.
Yeah.
I just Jelly Roll was he went through a big change in his life.
Oh, he did.
He was on Joe Rogan. He's like, I tell you, because he's in the whole comedy community.
Yeah.
He's like, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have lost the weight. I wouldn't have had the success I had. He's like, of the 10 people, or of the 9 people you surround yourself with, you become the 10th.
Absolutely.
Because those habits breed.
The only pushback I would have on that is, you want to mentor people that aren't at your level also. So it's okay to be around people that you're helping. So you don't always have to be around the elite, so bring in people to your inner group that you can help and put a hand out to the people who need to step up,
One of my favorite lines is be less impressed, more involved.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love that.
Because I feel like I'm a very process person. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, God, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way.
There is.
And there always is.
And then having the solution, again, going back to complaining. It's okay to complain, but you got to have a solution behind it. And if you complain and have a solution, I don't see it as complaining. You're fixing a problem. You're solving an issue.
I always say, well, so what?
I always say, now what?
Now what?
Yeah. Now what?
So, hey, appreciate you guys coming on.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Great so much.
Had a great time.
Great time. So thank you, everyone.
Hey, you've made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Make sure you subscribe to the Cash Flow Chronicles Open Forum newsletter, drop us a like, and follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube. Hey, you've made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Make sure you subscribe to the Cash Flow Chronicles Open Forum newsletter, drop us a like, and follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube.